This is one of the weirdest fish in the world. There's no doubt about it.
They have weirdly human red lips, fins for legs, a beard, bioluminescent parts. This Galapagos local looks like a hoax made with AI, but it's real, it's fierce, and it's thriving. This is the amazingly weird red-lipped batfish.
Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animalogic. When you look at a red-lipped batfish, the immediate question is usually, why? What evolutionary forces could have possibly led to a fish looking like this?
There are still a lot of unresolved mysteries, but let's go one ridiculous feature at a time, starting with their supple little lips. Red-lipped batfish have a dual strategy of being well camouflaged if you look at them from above, and being very recognizable when face to face. Their predators usually swim over them, but they encounter other batfish at eye level.
Yes, they look like someone applied a beauty filter to a clam, but their purpose is surprisingly relatable. They're just trying to look cute. Or at least that's the current leading theory. Their beautiful Kylie Jenner-inspired lips are for them to recognize each other when it's time to mate. Love is in the air, but it's also underwater.
Something to consider is that red light doesn't travel well through water. The deeper you go, the more blue everything looks. It's not because the water is blue, but simply because red light is the first one to disappear underwater. Most underwater videos and pictures you've seen are edited to balance the colors. Otherwise, it would look like this. So having aggressively red lips is a way to stand out in a literal ocean of blue.
Additionally, we're still not sure how good color vision is in batfish. They might not even perceive red the same as we do. So at their maximum depth, around 75 meters, they might look to each other like
this, a goth-lipped batfish. All around their bodacious lips, they have little beard-like projections that make them look like they haven't shaved for a couple of days. The purpose for these wispy beards is currently unknown.
There's a lot more to these cute fish than their cherry lips. Everything about them is batfish crazy.
On top of their head, they have a sort of horn, which, as you might expect by now, we have no idea what it's for. But it's common among all their batfish cousins. The long-nosed batfish, the dwarf batfish, and the roughback batfish all have large, pointy, front-facing horns.
A clue about their origin can be found in their other relatives. They're part of the anglerfish order, which have lots of species with a horn, which is usually called an illicium.
At the tip of the illicium, there's a bioluminescent lure called an esca. In different species, the esca might look like a little worm or other invertebrates to attract small fish, which are then ambushed and swallowed whole by the anglerfish. A classic case of aggressive mimicry.
Batfishes also have a lure, but it doesn't come out from where you'd expect.
While most anglerfish have their lure at the tip of their fishing rod, red-lipped batfish and its siblings have it come from an orifice at the base of the horn. It almost makes it look like it's snot, but it's not. The lure collects bioluminescent bacteria from the ocean, which is key for attracting prey at the deepest parts of their range.
Of course, getting down there is a whole thing. Batfish are as good at swimming as bats are at walking.
Their fins have instead adapted to walking pretty much like baby kangaroos walk before they learn to hop, awkwardly, and with limbs that seem too big for their body size.
If they have to swim, they'll tuck their fin legs under their body and propel themselves by their pointy tails. Some closely related bad swimmers, like the frogfish, use jet propulsion by gulping water and then forcing it out of their gills.
They look pretty silly doing it, but it helps for a little burst of speed for an otherwise very slow species, especially when they're young and most vulnerable. Nobody knows for sure if batfish can do this. There are no reports, but when they swim, you can see two openings at the back of their fins open up similarly to animals with jet propulsion.
It's possible that they had jet propulsion at some point in their evolutionary history, but it might have become useless since they don't seem to have many predators.
There are no reports of predation on these guys. They do, after all, look like they would taste funny, but they might have several predators, and we just haven't seen them eating red-lipped batfish. They live in the waters of the Galapagos Islands, home to predators like Galapagos sharks, white-tip reef sharks, and of course, Galapagos penguins. There might be an epic batfish versus the penguin battle happening right now, and we don't have a way to find out.
Yet another riddle about these adorable freaks. Please, science, catch up. We need to know what's going on with the red-lipped batfish. But we have to admit that there are a few reasons why it's so hard to study them.
They are sometimes seen in waters as shallow as 3 meters, but most of their range is below where most divers can go. Even if you were to swim near them, unless you shine a bright light on them, it's most likely that you'd completely miss them due to their colorization and texture. They just look like a rock or a coral.
They're also known to have a very large parasitic load, so they might not live too long in the wild. When they're caught to be put in aquaria, they have to go through a tough deworming process. But aquarists have figured out how to keep them alive for up to 12 years. Maybe we'll get some insights from them. You'd think that a fish as magnificent as this would have hordes of scientists diving in the Galapagos to learn more about them, but they're surprisingly understudied. The red lip was first described in 1985, which is way more recent than some of its cousins, like the polka dot batfish, which has been known since 1818.
The red-lipped batfish is an anomaly in a land of weirdos. Even its scientific name, Ogchocephalus darwini, reminds of the amazing power of evolution to create the strangest things imaginable. But we need to learn more about it.
If you're a marine biologist, consider researching this fishy so we can make an updated episode with some of these riddles solved. So what should we talk about next? Please let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe for new episodes every week. Thanks for watching. See ya! I'm Batfish. I'm Batfish.
You sound more like Bane.
I'm Batfish.
I'm Bat.
I'm Batfish.
I'm